Week 11? Dang. In the playoff hunt right now. Hopefully that's what you are. We're cutting get this playoffs. Name career Dustin there. Fantasy Smack Talk. Talking Week 11 fantasy football. Dustin, tell him something.
DraftKings, sign up using the promo code FST. Follow the link in the card or in the description. Sign up, have some fun, deposit $5 or more. You get a free entry into a game to get your feet wet and see what all the hype is about.
It's a lot of fun. And now here's the thing. We're going to be talking about keeper leagues right now. So if you're in a keeper league and you're out, that doesn't mean that you're out because it's a keeper league and you're playing for the long term. So if you are out, what you got to do is look at the guys that could help your team, that could be decent keepers going forward. A guy like Langford's a perfect example. Say Forte comes back, plays well. Hopefully he doesn't because Dustin's playing me, it's Forte. But hopefully that doesn't. But let's say he comes back in 2 weeks even. And the guy that owns Langford's like, oh, I only got 5 touches, I'm dropping him. You scoop him up because Forte's a free agent or basically not going to be on the Bears next year. Langford's looks like he's going to be that starter. So a guy like Langford, Jay Ajayi, maybe he gets more run next year. You know, if Matt Jones gets dropped for some reason, I don't know if Alf's coming back. Green Beckham, wide receiver for Tennessee if he's available. Just grab some of these guys and see what happens. And then based on that, you might have helped out your keeper situation for next year.
And one thing real quick too, like if you're not liking what your team's doing, if you're trending down, don't be afraid to blow it up a little bit. You know, get a new kicker, get a new defense, get a new quarterback even if you have to. Maybe a new tight end, not your core group, but don't get in a rut with who you have in your other positions because those guys are very important and don't just stick with who you have. If it's not working, change it up. Sometimes I don't know what it is, but sometimes I've done that in the past and it's just kind of revived my team for some reason just from picking up, you know, a new tight end, a kicker, and a defense. You know, it's just look at something new.
Root for some new guys.
Don't go down.
New blood in there.
Don't go down without changing something up.
All right, Dustin. Form question time. Big Daddy Groove wants you to pick 2. James Starks at Minnesota, Emmanuel Sanders at Chicago, or Jarvis Landry home versus the Cowboys.
You know, it's kind of early in the week to pick this one, but you know, I think Sanders is trending in the right direction. And Landry is going to get involved each week. And I do think Lacey does come back. And Starks didn't look all that good last week.
It's a little disappointing.
It was disappointing. And with Lacey in the mix, I just think that situation's too scary. I mean, if Starks had played well, then yes. And I do think Starks is still going to get the chance to start. But I'm staying away from that if Lacey plays. I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's where I'm at with that one. Next, Big Mac 8_7. Which wide receiver in a PPR? And this one is tough and a good problem to have. Des Bryant at Miami or Allen Robinson versus Tennessee? Full point PPR.
Yeah, and I did the rankings last night, and these guys are in my top 5 at wide receiver. So I don't know what other options you're working with there, especially if you have a flex. So in theory, I'd be starting both of them, but out of the 2, I did rank Dez higher. I just think that blow-up potential is a little bit higher with Tony Romo coming back. Romo would not be coming back if he wasn't fully healthy, so that means he is. So I'm going to go with Dez here.
They were safe with Romo. He's ready.
All right, D. Lloyd, 1992. Probably when they were born. Stevie, he wants to know flex spot in a 0.5 PPR. Stevie Johnson, home versus KC, or Diggs versus the Green Bay Packers.
You know, I would be able to say maybe earlier in the year, oh, well, Minnesota's probably going to be playing from behind, so they're going to be throwing a lot. But you can't really say that
not anymore.
With how Minnesota's been playing. And I just think in any type of PPR league, Stevie Johnson's value is solid. I mean, he's going to get targeted early and often. I think Diggs might have a slightly higher ceiling, but I think the safeness of Johnson, I think, is what makes me gravitate more towards him. Because I do think he still has touchdown potential, so I'm going Stevie here. Give me some Stevie.
Can't hate on that.
All right, let's get into those duds, sleepers, and deep sleepers. My dud, my boy, what did J.J. Watt call him? The Red Ryder BB gun? He didn't like that. Andy Dalton, they looked terrible. They looked really bad, and they were at home against Houston. I mean, now they're going on the road against Arizona. I don't know. I mean, you've had Dalton. I don't think you're deploying him as normal. I think you should be worried about what happened last week, and if you have other decent options, I would definitely consider them. My sleeper, I'm going with Houston's defense. They looked great going up against Cincy last week. Houston's available in a ton of leagues. They do have the Jets this week, but they're at home. And I don't know. I like Houston's D. You know, Fitz is a little banged up, but he does look like he's going to play. Then my deep sleeper, my new man crush, Brock Osweiler.
I've heard about this guy all night already. Sick of it.
6'8". I don't know. I like unconventional. I like the guy. I like that he ran for some yards at the end of the last game. I know it was completely junk yards, but I do think he has potential. And the way Chicago played last week, I think there could be some points scored in this game. I think Denver could be playing from behind. I don't know. We'll see. But Chicago's looked really good. Potential shootout there. I would probably start Brock over Andy Dalton just for fun.
Or, who are you asking about? Russell Wilson.
Or Russell Wilson.
It's crazy talk.
Close.
Crazy talk. All right, my bust is going to be T.Y. Hilton at Atlanta. You know, Luck's still out. He got the lowest look. He got only like 5 targets last week. He's still got a foot injury. And Atlanta, surprisingly enough, is second best against wide receivers in terms of allowing fantasy points. So all that combined makes T.Y. my bust. And he's been pretty bad. Not bad, but he hasn't been what we thought he was going to be this year anyway. All right, my sleeper, Danny Amendola against Buffalo. Simple as this. Edelman goes down. Amendola gets a ton of targets. And Amendola, when he's not under concussion protocol, because that's always been his issue, has always been solid. So I do like Amendola to step in that role and have a good week, especially in PPR leagues. And my deep sleeper is going to be Jacob Tamme. If you watch Smack Talk, you know I love me some targets. Jacob Tamme has had 22 targets the last 2 weeks. I love that. Therefore, I'm a big fan of Jacob Tamme this week.
Let's get into Mike's picks. His dud is Kirk Cousins.
What do you mean?
It was
the best game ever.
It was New Orleans. Now he's got Carolina on the road.
A little different.
It's a little different. You're not starting Cousins unless you're desperate. His sleeper's Jay Ajayi. This guy has looked great. Dallas's run D isn't the best, and Ajayi just keeps getting more and more touches, like I talked about in my waiver wire show. Very much like the Bengals situation, I feel, with with your Hill and Bernard. I think Ajayi's turning into a Hill at this point. And then his deep sleeper is Peyton, wide receiver for the 49ers. Bolden's looking doubtful, questionable to play. If Bolden doesn't end up playing, he likes that matchup. I mean, they're probably going to get destroyed by Seattle. So you got to think
it's a 14-point spread in Vegas, which is nuts.
That's crazy. So you got to think there's potential for some junk yards there, playing from behind. So week 11. It's crazy to think. Subscribe to our channel. Sign up for DraftKings.
Catch me. Not gonna look. Not even close.
There's no chance of that.
Do it again.
There's no chance of that ever working.
There's no chance.
Right here.
We haven't practiced that one yet. We'll get it.
Right here.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna practice by the end of the year. We'll get that.
No.
No chance.